So how do you make Tuscan meatballs? Well, come with me to the refrigerator and I'll tell you, because you actually have to start early in the day or the day before. Because this is a meatball that starts with cooked meat. Yes, cooked meat. And here is what I have. This is a chuck roast. So you want a cut of meat that you're going to boil. Tuscan meatballs start with some sort of boiled meat. You could use turkey, you could use pork. Today I'm using a chuck roast, and this is a chuck roast that I cooked, cooled, and now I'm going to grind up. So the best thing to do is to put that into a food processor. So this is about 1 pound of chuck roast, boiled, cooled, and cut up. And we want to get that into a really fine mince, very fine. The texture of these meatballs is absolutely very, very fine. And so pulse it up a couple of times until it looks fine enough that when you take off the top, you can take it and kind of squeeze it between your hands so it holds together. That's the texture that you want. So once you have that done, you can just put it into a bowl. And now we can go on to add the other ingredients for the meatballs. So there's a pound of the chuck roast. And then to flavor this, you want to have some mortadella. Mortadella is a cooked pork product that comes from the region of Emilia-Romagna, but you find it everywhere in Italy. And this is what it looks like when you buy it. You see it's very thinly sliced. It's the original bologna. This is true bologna, coming from around the area of Bologna. And when you buy it in very thin slices, and you see it has creamy white flecks of lard, and it's often studded with pistachio nuts and sometimes with black peppercorns. So I want about 4 slices of that, and that's going to go right into the food processor. And we're going to mince that up as well. This is going to be added right to our meat mixture. This is so easy and so delicious, but also very, very different. So now the mortadella gets added to the chuck roast. And with this, we want to have some porcini mushrooms. And I know exactly what you're saying. Where am I going to find porcini mushrooms? Well, believe me, you can buy them dried. Here they are. This is how you get them when you buy them in the store, dried porcini. Of course, if you had fresh, that would be even better. And when you get them home, you need to soak them. So here I just put about 1/4 cup of porcini mushrooms in a little bit of water. A sieve takes them out, and you can see how they have softened up. So they go right into the food processor with some flat leaf parsley. You want to use flat leaf parsley for this. That's Italian parsley, not curly parsley, which is great if you want to decorate a plate, but it doesn't have too much flavor. And you mince all of this up. And I think you start to get the idea now that all of this is very fine textured. And now we add that to our ground chuck and our mortadella. And then with that, we want to have some cheese. And here you can use Parmigiano Reggiano, which is a cheese that comes from Emilia-Romagna, a cow's milk cheese. You want about 1/4 cup. Or you could use a pecorino cheese, which is a sheep's milk cheese. And then a little bit of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon, not much, because we have salt in the cheese. So mix this up well. And now we're going to add 2 eggs to that. I'm going to put the blade right back in here. See how easy this is? 2 large eggs. And you know, when you have these meatballs in Tuscany, this isn't something that's served to company. This is something that is served to people that you know. So it's only served to family. So when I was served these, I was considered family at my friend Edith's house. So you want to whiz up 2 eggs. and add this right to the meat mixture. And that's going to help bind the meat. And now we want to mix this up, and we have to add the bechamel to this. So get the eggs in, and if your eggs are small, you may want to add an extra egg or so. Now the bechamel, and for this we want, about a half a cup, and I'm just going to eyeball that for you. I put a little bit of nutmeg in to flavor this. So a half a cup of bechamel. You see, I'm not using any breadcrumbs with this recipe. And we get this all mixed up, and now we're going to begin to form meatballs, or polpette as they are known in Italian. This is something that's eaten as a second course. And when I had it at Edith's house, of course, I had it served with salad greens. Okay, that looks good. Now we need to get our hands into this. And before we do that, we need to get some oil going. So here I have some extra virgin olive oil heating up in a skillet. And to do it, you want to take small amounts and kind of make this an oval shape. You want the meatball to hold together. When Edith made these, she made them the size of large olives. So you want kind of an oval shape, something like that. And as you make them, you're going to put them into flour. Now, everybody has a version of making meatballs. Some people bake meatballs, some people deep fry meatballs, some people saute meatballs. Well, we're going to be putting ours into olive oil because that's the way that Edith did them. But you could also use a vegetable oil if you did not want to use olive oil. So get them into an oval shape, and you can actually make them smaller than this, but Lulu's coming over today, so I want to make sure that I have a good amount of meatballs in order to impress her and serve her these. And I know she's going to be making her favorite meatball recipe. So I'll do one more for you. And you see how nicely that holds together? Beautiful consistency. And these are very light tasting when you eat them. All right, so there are our meatballs. And now you dredge them in flour. You really want to coat them nicely. Get all that excess flour off, because you don't want too much of a floury taste. Some people like to do these by putting them in egg and then breadcrumb, but I think they're beautiful just the way they are, dredged in flour. And here's our last one. Okay, now we can get them into the oil, and here is my hot oil. And they're not going to take very long. Maybe about 2 minutes. And you want to watch them because you need to, of course, turn them as they're browning. Now, while they're cooking, and let me just give them a quick turn here. So I want them to really brown nicely, and they're looking good. I want to get a little salad ready for you. And for this, we want a variety of greens. So I have some salad greens already in the fridge. So let me get them. All cleaned, ready to go. A little bit of radicchio, some endive, some arugula, all cleaned. And now we want to give that a little bit of salt and some extra virgin olive oil. I just eyeball this when I'm making salad. Give that a good toss. And then just add some good red wine vinegar to this. So a little bit of red wine vinegar. Before I toss that, let me go back here and see what we're doing. Well, these are looking perfect. Look at that. Look at how beautiful they look. And I can take them out, and they've stayed together beautifully. And when you take them out, you want to drain them onto brown paper. So have some brown paper ready and let them drain. And you want to eat these at room temperature. So there are the ones that I drained. Now let me show you how you have these. You get out a beautiful platter and you make a nice bed of those greens right on the platter. I'll bet you've never eaten meatballs like this. You've usually had meatballs with spaghetti, which of course does not even exist in Italy because meat is always a second course. And then you simply arrange these beautiful meatballs right over the top